Indigenous Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price has sparked debate by asserting that One Nation is not anti-Australian, distancing itself from the Greens, whose radicalism she criticises regarding Indigenous matters. In Hobart, the Crowther Reinterpreted project, which removed a controversial statue, has been recognised at the National Awards for Local Government, highlighting ongoing reconciliation discussions. Additionally, the Coalition has launched a $100 million infrastructure fund to improve access to boarding schools for remote Indigenous students, addressing educational disparities. More of that later. Kaya, I'm Leanne Djilandi Dolby, and this is the National Indigenous Times Daily News Bulletin for the 24th of April 2025. In a recent political controversy, Indigenous Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price rejected comparisons between One Nation and the Greens, arguing that One Nation is not anti-Australian despite its contentious history and affiliation. This came after One Nation altered its how to vote cards to preference the Coalition in several key seats, sparking accusations of hypocrisy since Labor has long been criticised for preferencing the Greens. Price defended One Nation, stating the Greens are absolute radicals. One Nation aren't radical like the Greens, and further criticised the Greens for being out of touch with Indigenous communities and promoting divisive ideologies. Despite her outspoken support for controversial policies like auditing Indigenous spending, Price continues to face backlash from Indigenous organisations, while maintaining she still represents a grassroots voice. The Kimberley Language Resource Centre, KLRC, has made an urgent call for unity and cultural leadership following a devastating act of vandalism at its Halls Creek office. In a powerful statement, the centre invited all cultural law bosses, storytellers and knowledge holders who hold cultural authority to convene in Halls Creek to determine the centre's future after irreplaceable records, some dating back to the early 1900s, were tampered with. The incident which followed included a theft of the KLRC vehicle and damage to archives, has been described as a disturbing vandalisation of cultural memory and place. The centre warned of an escalating crisis among youth in the region, stating antisocial behaviour has become the norm within the young generations. It is disconcerting to see that our young people are being carried wayside by excitement they feel when they do immense damage. After the KLRC temporary closes to ensure staff safety and recover from the loss, it is calling on the broader community for support, accountability and urgent action to protect Kimberley's cultural heritage. The City of Hobart's Crowther Reinterpreted project, which has led to the removal of the controversial William Crowther statue, has been nominated for 2 categories. Initiated in 2021, the project is recognised under Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander recognition and arts and cultural categories, marking what Acting Lord Mayor Dr. Zelinda Sherlock called a growth moment for our city. The statue's removal followed sustained calls from the Palawa community. Due to Crowther's role in the mutilation of an Aboriginal man, William Lane's remains in 1860s. Our objective from the start was to bring community along with us on this journey, said Dr. Sherlock, emphasising the council's consultation process. While the project has drawn both praise and criticism, seen by some as an act of reconciliation and others as divisive, it has sparked national discussion about historical reckoning and the role of public monuments. And finally, the Coalition has unveiled a $100 million infrastructure aimed at improving access to boarding schools for remote Indigenous students, marking one of its first dedicated policies targeting Indigenous education in the current election campaign. The initiative, surprisingly championed by Shadow Minister for Indigenous Australians Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, seeks to address low attendance and Year 12 completion rates in remote communities by offering students better educational opportunities away from home. Education is crucial to combating the tyranny of distance and breaking the cycle of intergenerational disadvantage, Senator Price said, emphasising the need for practical solutions over prolonged reviews and short-term funding. The fund will support 2 grant rounds to expand and upgrade boarding facilities, creating up to 660 new places, while also offering continued support through the Indigenous Boarding Providers Grants Program. The Coalition's policy contrasts with Labor's recent $44 million investment and aligns with its broader back-to-basics approach. That's today's Daily News Roundup from the National Indigenous Times. For more news, head to nit.com.au and sign up for our free newsletter.